Level 1, the morning after. $100,000. You see it for the first time on a Tuesday morning, 7:43 a.m. You open the app the way you've opened it every morning for 10 years. The number was different this time. 6 digits. You blink at it. You stare at it. You sit on the edge of the bed in your boxers with the phone in your hand and the screen quietly glowing in the morning light. You don't move for a full minute. You don't tell anyone, not your partner sleeping next to you, not your best friend, not your family. The phone stays in your hand, and the number stays on the screen, and the room stays quiet around something that just happened that nobody else knows happened. You screenshot it. You don't know why. You'll probably never look at the screenshot again, but you save it anyway. The version of you who opened the account at 23 with $200 and thought he'd be a millionaire by 28 doesn't exist anymore. He died slowly, over 10 years of monthly contributions and market drops and the moments you almost gave up, but didn't. This version of you is what he became. 6 figures took 10 years, and you crossed the line at 7:43 a.m. on a regular Tuesday in your boxers staring at a phone screen. You walk to the bathroom, you look at yourself in the mirror. Same face, different person. The first rule. $100,000 isn't a number. It's the receipt for the person you became while you were chasing it. Level 2. The quiet confidence. Wednesday afternoon. The group text lights up. A coworker is collecting $40 from everyone for a birthday gift for someone you've spoken to twice in 2 years. You read it. You don't reply for an hour. A year ago, you would have replied yes within 30 seconds. Not because you wanted to. Because saying no felt more expensive than saying yes. The awkwardness. The follow-up question. The story you'd have to make up about why you couldn't. The cheaper move was always to pay the $40 and move on. You type 3 words. Not this time. You hit send. You set the phone down. You wait for the spiral to start. The guilt. The over-explanation. The second message you use to send apologizing for the first one. Nothing comes. Someone replies with a thumbs up. The group text moves on. Nobody asked why. Nobody thought less of you. The thing you spent 10 years afraid of took 5 seconds to do, and nothing happened. You realize something at your desk in the middle of a Wednesday. The fear of small no's was never about $40. It was about being seen as the broke friend, the cheap one, the guy who couldn't afford to be casual about money. At $100,000, that fear quietly walked out of you without making an announcement. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what you do with your money anymore. You spent 10 years apologizing for your bank account. Today you stopped. The second rule. $100,000 doesn't change what you can afford. It changes what you stop having to explain. Level 3. The bank treats you differently. The bank emails you, Friday morning. Not a marketing email, a personal one, from someone named Daniel who manages preferred clients in your region. He'd like to schedule a call to review your portfolio. His direct line is at the bottom of the email. You read it twice. The bank that put you on hold for 40 minutes in 2018 just sent you an email with a human's name on it. You didn't apply for a banker. You didn't request a call. They saw the number cross a line and sent someone. You don't reply right away. You set the laptop down. You walk to the window and look out at the street for a minute. Cars passing. A dog walking by. Normal Friday. You think about the version of you who stood in a bank lobby at 23 trying to dispute a $35 overdraft fee, the teller who didn't look up from her screen the whole time, the 40 seconds of service before she moved on to the next person, the way you walked out feeling like a problem instead of a customer. That bank and this bank are the same bank. The only thing that changed is the number next to your name. The system didn't get nicer. The system reorganized itself around what you became while you weren't looking. The next day, a credit card offer arrives in the mail, pre-approved, higher limit than anything you've ever been offered before. The week after that, an investment firm reaches out to discuss wealth tier services. None of it was you asking. You go back to the laptop. You don't reply to Daniel yet. You let the email sit in your inbox for a few hours, because for the first time in your life, the bank can wait for you. The third rule, $100,000 doesn't earn respect from the system. It just changes which version of the system you're allowed to see. Level 4, the time shift. Saturday morning, 10:14 a.m. You're at the grocery store. The line for self-checkout is 6 people deep. The line for the cashier is 2 people deep. You walk to the cashier. A year ago, you would have stood in the longer line, Self-checkout was free. The cashier line wasn't free. The cashier line meant tipping was implied somehow, or that you'd be slower, or that you were the kind of person who needed help. The cheap move was always self-checkout. The cheap move was always whatever saved 15 cents. Today you don't think about it. You just walk to the shorter line. You realize at the register that you saved 12 minutes. 12 minutes used to be worth less than $1 to you. Today it's worth more than $20. The math you've been doing your whole adult life just inverted itself without warning. It starts happening everywhere. You stop driving 15 minutes out of your way to save $4 on gas. You stop spending an hour comparing prices on Amazon to save $7. You stop combining 3 errands into one trip to save the gas of a second trip. The small optimizations you used to call smart, you suddenly recognize as expensive. You used to trade time for money because you didn't have enough money. Now you have enough money, so you stop making the trade. You realize the wealthy weren't lazy when they paid for things you wouldn't pay for. They just knew something you didn't know yet. Time stops being abundant the second you have enough money to value it. Your weekends start to feel longer. Your evenings start to feel different. Not because you have more time, because you stopped giving the time you had away for $4. The fourth rule: $100,000 doesn't give you more time. It changes the price you put on the time you already had. Level 5. The social gap opens. Sunday afternoon. You're at a backyard cookout. A friend from college you've known for 12 years is telling a story about how he's been driving for Uber on weekends because his rent went up $300. You nod. You make the right face. You say the right thing, but something inside you doesn't move the way it used to. A year ago, you would have felt his $300 in your chest. You would have remembered the exact feeling. You would have leaned in. Today you hear the number, and your brain processes it the way you'd process a weather forecast in a city you don't live in. You feel guilty for 2 seconds. Then you realize it isn't lack of caring, it's translation loss. His problem is real. You just stopped speaking that language fluently. The $300 that would have ruined your month at 24 isn't a number that lives in your bones anymore. You can remember what it felt like. You can't feel it. He keeps talking. You keep listening. The conversation is fine. Nothing is wrong on the surface. But there's a gap now. He can't see it. You think about how many of your friends are still living in the math you escaped. Counting tips. Splitting bills. Calculating whether they can afford a wedding 2 states away. You used to be one of them. You used to be the one telling the story he's telling now. You aren't anymore. The strangest part is nobody pulled away. The friendship didn't break. The dinner is still planned for next week. The group text still includes you. But something quiet shifted in the room, and only you noticed it. You're not above him. You're just somewhere else. The fifth rule: $100,000 doesn't make you better than your friends. It just translates you out of the language they still speak. Level 6, the new hunger. 3 months after you crossed it, Wednesday night, 10:47 p.m. You're on the couch with your laptop open and the app on the screen. The number says $108,400. You stare at it, the same way you stared at $100,000 3 months ago. Except something is missing. The thrill is gone. The number that used to feel like the sky now feels like the floor. The destination you spent 10 years climbing toward is now just where you stand. You don't feel pride looking at it. You feel hungry. You start running new math in your head. $200,000. 2 years and 7 months away at your current contribution rate. $500,000. 8 years. $1 million. 16 years. 16 years. You're 33. 16 years from now, you're 49. You can see the math. You can taste the math. The number that was impossible last year is now just expensive. You realize something on the couch in the middle of a Wednesday night. $100,000 didn't satisfy you. It cracked you open. It showed you the next number, and the number after that. The hunger you thought you'd kill by reaching the goal multiplied itself the second you crossed the line. You used to dream about $100,000 the way someone dreams about freedom. Today you talk about it the way someone talks about rent. It's just a number now. A floor you stand on while you look up at the next ceiling. You close the laptop. You don't feel ungrateful. You feel awake. The chase didn't end. It just changed gears. The sixth rule: $100,000 doesn't satisfy you. It introduces you to the version of you who is willing to chase the next number for the rest of your life. Level 7. The realization. It's been 6 months since you crossed it. You're sitting at your desk on a regular Thursday afternoon when the realization lands. The money didn't change your life. You did. The version of you who said no to the dinners. The version who skipped the vacations. The version who automated every paycheck and let the market drop without flinching. The version who watched your friends buy things you wouldn't let yourself buy. The version who showed up every month for 10 years, even when nothing visible was happening. That version of you built this number. The number didn't make you patient. Your patience made the number. The number didn't make you disciplined. Your discipline made the number. The number didn't make you confident at the bill, calm in front of your bank, quiet at the cookout. You did all of that. The number is just the receipt. You think about every person who told you investing was a scam, every person who said you'd never see returns, every coworker who spent their bonuses while you invested yours. They weren't wrong about the math. They were wrong about what the math was building. The math wasn't building wealth. The math was building you. You sit at your desk in a regular office on a regular Thursday and understand for the first time that the next $100,000 will be easier, and the $100,000 after that easier still. Not because the math gets easier, because the person doing the math already became the kind of person who could do it. You spent 10 years thinking you were chasing a number. You were building the version of yourself the next decade is going to belong to. The seventh rule: $100,000 isn't what you have. It's the proof of who you became while no one was watching. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting at their kitchen table at 11 p.m. They opened their banking app for the third time tonight. The number says $4,000. They feel small. They feel behind. They feel like everyone else is somewhere they'll never reach. They don't know the number isn't the answer. They don't know the next 10 years aren't about the money. They don't know that the version of them who crosses $100,000 won't be them. It'll be someone they have to become first. The math is just the map. The person is the journey. They close the app. They put the phone face down. They tell themselves they'll figure it out tomorrow. They've told themselves that 1,000 times. Most of them never start. The ones who do find out something nobody told them. That $100,000 isn't the prize. The prize is the version of yourself you build trying to get there. You're one of two people right now. The one staring at $4,000 at 11 p.m., or the one who already crossed the line and learned what it actually cost. The number doesn't decide which one you become. You do.